Welcome back, artistic ladies and gentlemen, to another Visit Wednesday challenge episode in this Pokémon TCG Online series. Every Wednesday I create a deck from scratch without any testing, then I take the deck into the versus ladder, play 5 battles with it to see how many wins. K-O-U-X with a water, no, not a water, fire, a lightning, a colorless and something else deck is going to be our opponent. We won the coin flip. Let's go first. Fire is definitely nice to see because our Whiscash is a water type, so we will hit for 40 damage against a fire Pokemon from our opponent. We do start off with a pretty bad hand, Shaymin, the Zoroark BREAK. I will probably attach the DCE to the Shaymin, bench my Skyfield, and then, or play down my Skyfield, and then Sycamore my hand away. Oh, my opponent starts off with a Shaymin too. It is a Shaymin vs Shaymin here. Let's see, Bursting Balloon and N. Oh, that's interesting. I will grab the N. That much is for sure here. Let's use that N immediately. Don't want to discard our Bursting Balloon if we don't have to, nor do we want to discard the Zoroark BREAK. As we have seen in the second battle, Zoroark BREAK is so clutch at times. We get a Bursting Balloon and a Zorua. Do we attach a Bursting Balloon here? I don't think so. We are not in any danger of getting KO'd here. For now, we'll just pause the turn. Even if my opponent uses Blacksmith, he will still need to retreat this Shaymin here. And I think that's a lot to ask here. Asking for a Blacksmith, a DCE maybe to power up an Entei, and then a switch on top of that to switch the Entei into the Shaymin. There's a Vseeker. We haven't seen a single bench Pokemon from our opponents. Vseeker from the Trainer's Mail. I wonder why my opponent grabbed that. Discards an AZ and a Rough Seas. Alright, grabs the Vseeker to use the AZ later on maybe. A Rough Seas though. Oh, it's Manectric. Manectric and a Fire Pokemon. What could the Fire Pokemon be? I've got no clue. Oh, it's a Pyroar. Manectric Pyroar. Look at that. That's going to be a tough match for us unless we see Mega Manectric. If we see Mega Manectric, we can stall with our Whiscash against the Mega Manectric, prevent my opponent from using Turbo Bolt. We won't be able to do any damage because the Rough Seas heals up all of the damage from our opponent. And there is the AZ for the Shaymin. Yes, promotes the Manectric. We could get hit for 40 damage at most, maybe actually 80 damage if my opponent uses a Muscle Band, but then he cannot attach a Spirit Link and a Shaymin for 5 cards. That is not too bad. I'd say that's a better start than we had. My opponent found 2 Pokemon, we found only 1. We still have our Shaymin in the active spot here, so we still have to Sky Return our Shaymin. Fire Energy and a Lightning Energy. I kinda wanna knock out that Pyroar and then just deal with the Mega Manectric with my Whiscash. And that's what I want to do here. Ultra Ball, discarding Fire Energy and something else. The problem with Mega Manectric though is that it's got free retreat, so if my opponent has other attackers on the bench, he can always retreat into those other attackers like the Pyroar or like the Shaymin for a Sky Return. But if the Rough Seas is in play, Sky Return doesn't do anything to our Whiscash because we can heal it off. The only danger is the Pyroar, and overrun, putting 20 on our Zorua and 40 on the Shaymin. We will Sky Return and that 40 damage. We will evolve into our Zoroark. We are going to have to promote the Zoroark, I think. So let's put this Bursting Balloon on there. Yes, let's do that. Let's also attach an energy to it. We should stay alive. No, we will not. If my opponent goes for the Assault Laser. Now I regret putting that Bursting Balloon on there, but we might see the Mega Manectric, so we might see the Mega Manectric. I'm going to N. I'm not going to attach an energy to my Zoroark because it might just get knocked out. I want to find some more basics. Really looking to find some more basics. Oh my goodness. We are so unlucky here. This might be game. This might be game. Unless we just fight the Fury Belts, or we could stand in here. We could stand in and hit for the... Yes, let's do that. Let's do that. Let's stand in. And we are going to hit for the Mind Jack for 70 damage. If my opponent goes for the Assault Laser, we'll put 60 more on the Manectric. We will get knocked out. But at least we have a Lysander here to Lysander maybe the Litleo, because it does have a 2 retreat cost. That could be painful for my opponents. Manectric Spirit Link right there. which tells me we will see the Mega Manectric come out. Rough Seas is going to heal up 30 damage. Yeah, this such a bad start for us. Such a very, very bad start. And there's a Pyroar with the Flare command. So my opponent can now freely switch our Shaymin if my opponent has energies attached to this Pyroar, which tells me I need to get rid of my Shaymin from the bench. An energy right there. Do we see a Sycamore or an N? Yes, of course we see a Sycamore. Of course my opponent had such a nice hand. Well. Problems in paradise. Definitely a lot of problems. Even if we Lysander, we still need to find another basic, because we cannot Sky Return our Shaymin unless we find another basic. There's an Ultra Ball discarding a Fire Energy and an Entei. Interesting. And there's another Pyroar. This time it's the Pyroar which prevents... and a Mega Manectric as well. Of course, the Mega Manectric as well is going to put energies on that Pyroar on the bench there. Turbo Bolt for the knockout, putting 60 on the Mega Manectric, but that is not going to matter at all. And this is probably a very quick loss. Bursting Balloon 60, yes, it looks like this might be a very, very quick loss here. We get an Ultra Ball, way too late there, way too late. Let's Ultra Ball away. Maybe not. We could actually pull something off here. We could knock out this Mega Manectric with another Zoroark. Let's discard this Bursting Balloon. Let's discard the Lysander. And we are going to grab a Zorua. Yes, we do have it. We have this DCE, we have the Wally, so we can actually stand in and hit for another Mind Jack for the knockout here. That is pretty neat. So let's attach the DCE, let's attach the Bursting Balloon as well. And let's stand in once more. We have left ourselves without a hand, but we will take 2 prizes. And that leaves my opponent with little to do at the moment, except for hitting for the Inferno Rush with the Pyro there, but it's only got 2 energies attached to it, so it cannot do that in the next turn. What can we get here? We get a VS Seeker and a Super Hot. A VS Seeker is good, that is very good. We can VS Seeker for an N. Oh, and there's the Pyro with the Intimidating Mane. Can we find... Oh, and why did he evolve into the Mega Manectric? Could have gone for an overrun there. I'm not sure why my opponent evolved into the Mega Manectric. We'll hit this Mega Manectric for a bit of damage. Our Bursting Balloon will go to waste. If we find a Float Stone, I will Sky Return my Shaymin actually. It's tempting just to go for a Lysander on the Shaymin. We are actually 10 short to knock out the Shaymin. Maybe just a Lysander on that other Pyro then. That is very tempting as well. And then Sky Return my own Shaymin. But I will have to put the DCE into the discard pile to retreat my Zoroark then. Have we seen any Float Stones? We have not. Lysander or N? That's the question. My opponent is down to 2 cards. I don't know. And just the pass of the turn misses out on the energy attachment. Oh, it's for sure here then. We will not going to N. We are not going to N. We are not going to Lysander either. We are just going to hit for a ton of damage. Yes. Or we could Lysander the Pyro with the Inferno Onrush and knock that out. But I kind of want to deal with the Mega Manectric. Or do I? Do I want to do that? Questions all around. This is a tough call. Well, let's VS Seeker for an N, but not this turn. We are not going to use the N this turn. We'll just show my opponent we have the N. And maybe taunt him into... Wait, why did I do that? I should not have done that. Because now my opponent knows we have an N. Well, let's just hope it annoys my opponent. Mind Jack for 100 damage. That's a 3 KO on this Mega Manectric. Because my opponent has the Rough Seas. Yeah, I don't know why I grabbed the N there. I should have waited. Actually, Oh my goodness, I should have grabbed the Wally. And there's a Sycamore from my opponent. I should have grabbed the Wally, because then I could have Wallied into my Zoroark Break and I could have hit for a Turbo Bolt here. We could have Turbo Bolted. Well, we don't have energies in our discard pile, but at least that's 10 more damage. Unless my opponent benches. Well, no, we could not have... oh, I'm talking trash here. I'm talking trash, I'm talking rubbish. We could not have foul played simply because we don't have a Darkness Energy attached. So I made 2 mistakes there. I should not have Via Secret for my N, and I should not have told you that I could have Wallied, because there was no point to Wallying except for giving us more HP, and that is actually pretty advantageous because my opponent cannot one-hit KO us if we've got more HP. That is for sure. And retreats there. Yeah, now I should have kept my Via Seeker for Lysander backup. That's Mega Manectric, and knock it out. Nope, it would have been still 10 short. Discards energy. Oh, grabs our Shaymin. Grabs our Shaymin there with that Pyro. Interesting. We'll see an overrun for 40 and 20, which tells me I will Sky Return my Shaymin. A Barboach, fantastic. Let's put this here on our Zoroark. Okay, so I'm not too sad with what happened last turn, with me using the Via Seeker for the N, because we couldn't have knocked out that Mega Manectric. We are hitting for 130, that's 200. Okay, all is good, all is still good. Let's put this Bursting Balloon on our Barboach. Do we put it anywhere? That's the question. Can my opponent find another Mega Manectric? He probably plays a 3-3 line of Manectric and Mega Manectric. I don't think I will use my Bursting Balloon. If it does not find a Mega Manectric, it cannot knock out our Zoroark. So we are going to use our Super Rod here, Super Rod back the Zorua and the Zoroark, and then we are going to end. And for 4 cards, hopefully find something useful. And energy, oh my goodness, the Zoroark Break, that is fantastic. That will allow us to stay alive if my opponent Lysanders out our Zoroark. We will stay alive with 10 HP. If he goes for the Turbo Bolt, we'll bench our Yveltal here, the Friday Night Yveltal, attention energy to it because it's a very good attacker. We'll take a look at the Trainer's Mail. Can we find a Sycamore? We get an Ultra Ball. I will grab the Ultra Ball so we can Ultra Ball for a Barboach in the next turn. We have the Shaymin for draw support. We are, or for Whiscash, I meant to say. Let's Sky Return and let's promote the Barboach. Let's hope it stays alive. Or do we promote the Zoroark Break? No, for now I will promote the Barboach. I'm probably going to have to sacrifice the Barboach. There's a small chance it might stay alive. If my opponent doesn't find an energy, then it will stay alive. And we can evolve into our Whiscash from the Ultra Ball. If not, I will Ultra Ball for a baby Yveltal. For now, there's little points to using our Whiscash. There's a Via Seeker for Shauna. Because if we use our Whiscash right now, this Mega Manectric can still go for an overrun, and that's pretty annoying for us. Now there's actually a point to using our Whiscash. There's the Mega Manectric, did find the Mega Manectric, and there's a Shauna, is looking for another energy. He's looking for another energy. 3 energies in the discard pile and a fire energy. Can my opponent find a lightning energy? How many lightning energies does he play? A Battle Compressor. He might miss out on a lightning energy attachment. Well, he doesn't need the lightning energy per se, he needs just the regular energy. Because he's got that lightning energy attached there already. Shaymin, oh my goodness, he's down to 4 cards. Down to 4 cards. Can he take 5 prizes in 4 turns? Can my opponent do that if we do not bench our Shaymin? There's the lightning energy, does find the lightning energy. We'll see the knockout here for the Turbo Bolt onto the other Mega Manectric. Or maybe onto the Pyro, I don't know. We are going to put 60 on a Shaymin, I think. How many Via Seekers has my opponent got left? He's got 2 more left and probably a Lysander somewhere. He's still got lots of Via Seekers left. We've only got 2 left ourselves and we still have 32 cards in our deck. That is not fair. That is not fair. Where does my opponent Turbo Ball 2? Onto the other Mega Manectric. So we will see some switching actions between Manectrics. We will promote our Zoroark. No, yes, that's for sure. because we can hit for a ton of damage with our Mind Jack, possibly even knock out the Shaymin. There's another Barboach, fantastic. Let's put this DCE on our Yveltal here. Then, how many more DCEs have we got? One more. Let's Shaymin. What can we find? Can we find another Zorua? That's what I'm looking for here. Another Zorua. An Ultra Ball, a Zoroark. Fantastic. Alright, let's see. We have a VS Seeker as well. VS Seeker for a Wally maybe. Or VS Seeker for a Lysander. I'm going to discard the Ultra Ball and the Trainer's Mail. We are going to grab another Zorua. Make sure my opponent knows we mean business here. Let's grab another Zorua. In the next turn we will evolve into the Zoroark, and for now we will Lysander out the Shaymin. All we need to do then is go for one more Lysander on a Shaymin, and that will take us the game. That will allow us to take the game. So we won't see any Whiscash in this matchup, I think. Just because my opponent has too many different Pokemon which can actually give our Whiscash a lot of trouble. We get teammates and a Darkness Energy. Yeah. There's just this yeah, the free retreat from the Manectric gives us trouble, because if we go for the Whiscash, my opponent can retreat in something like the Pyro or this Pyro or even the Shaymin and use the attacks from those Pokemon, and that is definitely going to be possible in the next turn. Flare Command onto our Shaymin for a knockout on a Shaymin. Can we knock out my opponent's Shaymin? I was expecting that, but my opponent cannot take 2 prizes in the next turn, so we get 2 turns here to close out the game. That's what we get. 2 turns is all we need. We will promote our Yveltal. We are going to put 60 on the Shaymin, and we are going to put 60 on the Mega Manectric. And that puts the Mega Manectric in danger as well. If my opponent benches another Pokemon, although I don't think he will, we see 2 energies on a Pyro, so my opponent can use the Flare Commands. But as I said, the Mega Manectric only hits for 110, and that is not a knockout on our Zoroark break there. And we are going to power up another Zoroark as well. Alright, let's evolve into the Zoroark. Let's take a look at his Trainer's Mail. What can we find from the Trainer's Mail? A VS Seeker, look at that. We even get the VS Seeker for the next turn. That is fantastic. So we can... Oh, we can actually VS Seeker now. I forgot here. I was nearly going to just teammates for a DCE, but all we have to do is VS Seeker the Shaymin right now and hit for a knockout with our Zoroark break here. That's all we need to do. I was already thinking 1 turn ahead, but there's no need for that. We win. Actually, we win this game against Mega Manectric with Pyro. And that's incredible. That's incredible. Our Barboach sat on the bench and watched it happen. So no Whiscash. Just a little bit of Barboach there. But that's okay. All that matters is that we took the game. We already saw the Whiscash shine in the Seismitoad matchup. He definitely shined. What is the pastime of shine? He definitely shone, I guess, in that match at the very end there. So if you want to see Whiscash in action, I refer you to the previous part, because this match is probably going to be in part 2 of the Wizard Wednesday challenge episode. Alright, let's find ourselves our 4th opponent. Up next, we're up against Oyo Guru with a colorless, lightning, fire, and a psychic deck. Don't tell me this is another Manectric fire deck, because we've been up against that before already, so we don't want to have a similar battle. We start off with our Barboach, 2 DCEs, my goodness, 2 freaking DCEs in our hands and 2 Sycamore. How painful can a starting hand be? Oh, and a Shaymin start from my opponent. A Shaymin start from my opponent. There's a Jolteon. I believe this might be a Manectric Jolteon actually. A DC on a Jolteon. We don't really rely on basics though. There's a... Ooh, I think it might be Mega Rayquaza instead. Discards Lightning Energy. Maybe not. Yes, it's Mega Rayquaza. Alright, so our Barboach can come in handy against Mega Rayquaza if If we can discard enough energies from the Mega Rayquaza, because again this Mega Rayquaza has got an easy free retreat cost, which is a bummer for us. Too bad, lots of these Pokemon with one attack have such an easy retreat cost. And the Mega Rayquaza comes out straight away. Yes, only one retreat cost. Let's take a look at our Trainer's Mail. An N, fantastic. We do get an N because I didn't want to discard these hands. This was a truly terrible hand. Let's end my opponent as well, who seemed to have a bad hand as well, but definitely better than we did. A little ball. We are going to grab a Zorua. Yes, Zorua is super useful against Mega Rayquaza. We will attach an energy to our Zorua. We'll also take a look at our Trainer's Mail. Maybe find another level ball. It is a Super Rod. No need for that at the moment. Let's bench our Shaymin. Try to find another Zorua if we can. A Listener. Ooh, Friday Night Yveltal. Don't mind if I do. We will put this here on our Barboach. We are going to discard the teammates and a Listener. Grab another Shaymin. Draw through our deck a little bit more. We might just Amnesia in the next turn if the Barboach stays alive. Might just Amnesia against a Mega Rayquaza or something. We get the break. Well, let's end our turn. We get a Wally here and a Sycamore as well. Would have loved to see the Zoroark here, and then we could Wally into the break. That would have been nice. We could copy the Mega Rayquaza's attack potentially. If we bench enough Pokemon, we can actually knock out the Mega Rayquaza with his own attack. But if my opponent benches enough Pokemon, we don't need to do that. We can just hit for the Mind Jack, because that will give us enough damage. All my opponent needs to do is bench like 7 Pokemon, and then we knock out this Mega Rayquaza. Yes, 7 times 30 plus 10 is 220. Right now he has benched 3 Pokemon. So maybe my opponent is going to refrain of benching too many Pokemon. Benches a Vulpix, a Shaymin, never mind, it looks like he's going to fill up his bench entirely. He's looking for an energy for the Jolteon, I think. Could see a Flash Ray for 70 for a knockout on our Barboach, but then we will knock out the Jolteon with our Zoroark break. Or just our Zoroark, probably just our Zoroark. Do want to find another Zorua, definitely do want to find another Zorua. There's a Misty's Determination discarding the Super Rods. My opponent discards a Super Rod. Wow. Maybe he plays two Super Rods, grabs something else. What did my opponent grab? Maybe he found the Lightning Energy or the DCE for the Mega Rayquaza. We could see a Mega Turbo and then a DCE attachment. And then the Mega Rayquaza is ready to hit for the Emerald Break. We see a Lightning Energy on the Jolteon. Never mind. We'll get hit for the Flash Ray for 70. I'm not sure why my opponent decided to go with the Jolteon here. Not sure at all. Because he knows we are playing evolutions. He definitely knows that. He knew it from the start because we had the Barboach. Might as well. Attention, Bursting Balloon. And I'm probably going to Sycamore. Increase my chances of finding the Zoroark as well as an energy. There's an energy and oh my goodness. Are you kidding me? We don't find the Zoroark. We actually do not find the Zoroark. And that is a bummer. Well, let's start powering up our Yveltal and we are going to confuse this Jolteon. Moonless Madness. My opponent can freely retreat into a Mega Rayquaza, power up a Mega Rayquaza. That is definitely possible. And that is okay by me. Unless the Mega Rayquaza attacks us. Then that's a whole other story. Because I don't want this Zoroark to go down. It is a very important resource. There's an Ultra Ball, going to discard a V-Seeker and a Skyfield. My opponent discards a lot of important resources and a Ninetales is going to lock in the Skyfield. We are fine with that, completely fine with that. We don't really want to bench our own stadium. DC on the Mega Rayquaza and a Hoopa, look at that. If only we had found our Zoroark, if only. But no. For some reason we got trolled by the PTCGO and we do not get our Zoroark to deal here with this, to deal with that Jolteon and get the first 2 prizes. Another Shaymin is going to draw 5 more cards. I cannot believe we are down to 26 cards already. We are drawing through our deck as fast as my opponent is, it seems. Mega Turbo. Alright, so we will see the Mega Rayquaza hit us for 60. No, for a ton of damage, not for 60. But we'll take 60 damage itself. Can we reply with the Yveltal here? To stall for a little bit. I might just have to Sycamore again. Just because we have terrible hands after terrible hands. Because this really is not a good hand. Emerald Break for 240 damage. We will put 60 on a Shaymin and 60 on a Mega Rayquaza with our Fright Night Yveltal. If we can find a DCE, because God knows we might not find a DCE. Super odds. Let's bench the Lugia. I will super odd back here at the... Do I want to super odd back the break maybe? Let's super odd back and the Zorua, the break, and an energy. I'm going to leave the Whiscash in the discard pile. We are too slow. We started too slow to use the Whiscash. Let's put the Floatstone on the Lugia. And we are going to Sycamore. Try to find a Zorua here. All we want to see is a Zorua and a DCE. And oh my goodness. Are you kidding me? Oh my goodness. This is so bad. Why can we not find our DCEs? What the heck is wrong here? Well, let's discard an energy. And this VS Seeker. We will grab our Zorua. And we will hopefully in the next turn find our Zoroark. Finally find our Zoroark. For now, let's put an energy on the Lugia. And let's pass our turn. And this Yveltal is going to go down. No 60 damage from us on the Jolteon or on the Shaymin. We are missing out a lot here. If we lose this game, it is because I drew like a brick. I drew like a brick. Meaning I didn't draw at all. I just got bad cards or bad hand after bad hand. There's an Emerald Break putting 60 on the Mega Rayquaza. I think... No, maybe not. Why not? We'll promote our Lugia. We'll have to Sycamore again here. Another Zorua. My opponent can very easily take the game here. All he needs to do is Lysander out one of our Shaymins. And that would seal the game for him very soon. He's got lots of Yes Seekers to do that. We'll put a Floatstone on a Zorua. And we are going to Sycamore. We need to Sycamore once more. If we miss out on the Zoroark now, I will flip my table. And we don't get a DCE. What the heck? Where's all our DCEs? Are the DCEs even in our deck? Let's take a look at our deck here. 4 DCEs in our deck. 4 freaking DCEs in our deck. 4 DCEs in the last 12 cards. Man. I mean, come on now. That's just ridiculous. Well, as this guy, this Skyfield, this Barboach, and we are going to go for the honor win here. We are going to go for the honor win, and just try to get at least 1 knockout on one of my opponent's Pokemon. Let's bait my opponent with the Yveltal here. Give him a knockout on the Yveltal. All we want to see is 1 knockout. That's all we want to see, and we will be happy here, because I think with the hands that we were given, I think there's nothing, well, it's the most we can get out of this match at this point. This is going to be a loss, but it's a loss which was not in my power to rectify or to prevent. I could not have prevented this loss. There was just no way. An Emerald Break, it still doesn't Lysander. Does he really not have any VS Seekers? Maybe he's got VS Seeker for the next turn. We don't even have an N here. We've got such a terrible hand that we don't even have an N to end him down to two cards here. DCE, now we get the DCE, and now we actually want to see an N, but we don't have it. Well, let's hit for the Mind Jack for a ton of damage, 250, more than enough, but my opponent has got another Mega Rayquaza ready to go right there. So we do take 2 prizes, but that is probably all that we will take in this game. Promotes the Jolteon, because it's got 3 retreats, needs another energy for the Rayquaza there. For the Mega Rayquaza, and does have a lot of more energies. Another basic energy right there. Will we see the Lysander for the game? Please. Oh my goodness, he ends this. No Lysander. He's going to make our journey in this match even more painful by by drawing it out, by making this match more drawn out than it has to be, well, we still stand a very small chance at taking the game. If we can power up our Zoroark right here, knock out this Mega Rayquaza, all we need to do is knock out another EX, and then we can actually take the game. DCE, alright, we can Ultra Ball away this Trainer's Mail and the Reverse Valley. Can we knock out this Mega Rayquaza? Oh my goodness! Are you freaking kidding me? Are you freaking kidding me? What the heck? 2 Zoroarks are prized. 2 Zoroarks are prized. Did I just see that? Let's Sycamore. I don't believe that. How could I have missed that the entire game? Oh my goodness. That explains a lot. That explains a lot. Well, GG. GG. I cannot believe that. I'm gonna let my opponent know that because that is incredible. Well, it doesn't even come through. That was a loss, and I'm going to write it off as a loss because of bad luck. I think that's fair enough here. 2 Zoroarks prized. There's nothing we could have done. We had a very small chance at taking that game right there. All we needed was to knock out that Mega Rayquaza with our Zoroark, and then if my opponent could not power up another Mega Rayquaza, or if he did not have a Listener for our Shaymin and then knock out the Shaymin with the Jolteon, we could have taken the game right there. But this is just, oh my goodness, this is worthy of like 20,000, oh my goodness, 20,000, oh my goodness, in a row. I cannot believe this. Let's take a look at stats. Well, we got utterly destroyed there. 1,210 damage versus 250 from my opponent. Zoroark MVP versus Mega Rayquaza EX. Let's find ourselves our last opponent of the day. The last opponent is Fear Fox with a colorless Darkness, Dragon, and Psychic deck. Probably Darkrai Giratina. If you're up against Darkrai Giratina, we can use our Whiscash to prevent my opponent from using the Dark Pulse or the Chaos Wheel. We start off with the Yveltal, which is pretty darn good, to be honest. That's pretty darn good. And we can even Float Stone the Yveltal. Oh, and it's Yveltal versus Yveltal here. That is going to be interesting. Typically, this deck benches a lot of Pokemon, my opponent's deck, so we can also make good use of our Zoroark. This should be a pretty good matchup for us. The Garbodor is an annoyance because that shuts down our stand-in ability. There's a Hoopa, so that's already 2 Pokemon on my opponent's bench. We can target that Hoopa with our Yveltal here. We can also target the Darkrai's or the Giratina. There's a Darkrai and the Giratina. One downside is that my opponent has a very fast deck, much faster than our deck, so that is definitely a downside. There's a Max Elixir already. Oh, it fails. Okay, Max Elixir fails. Does my opponent have a Shaymin as well? Why did he not grab a Shaymin? Floatstone. Maybe he's going to Sycamore. Yes, he's Sycamores. He's Sycamores. Floatstone on the Trubbish immediately, and that Floatstone is there to stay unless we knock out that Trubbish. But my priority is knocking out the Giratina and the Darkrai and a Shaymin. Look at that, 5 Pokemon on the bench. We are hitting for 160 at the moment, 170 if we have our Stadium in play, and that's a knockout on the Giratina, not on the Darkrai, unfortunately. Max Elixir, does it fail again? Yeah, no, it does not fail again, it seems. This time it worked. Does my opponent have another energy to attach from his hand? Ooh, and a Parallel City. Oh, he's going to get rid of his Hoopa and the Shaymin. That's bad for our strategy. That's definitely bad for our strategy. That's Level Ball for Zorua. We will have to discard the Zoroark right here, I think, and our Super Rod as well. So we are left without any way of shuffling cards back in our deck. Why is it always like that? Why do we always start off with an awkward hand like that? Let's a Level Ball again for the Barboach this time. Just to make sure we can shut off the Dark Pulse. Force my opponent to retreat. Then let's put a Floatstone on the Zorua. Let's take a look. Can we find an end, please? Ooh. Ultra Ball. Don't mind if I do. I will Ultra Ball away the Sycamore and the Zoroark, and I'm going to grab myself a Shaymin. Yes, 2 Shaymins right there, that is fantastic. And then we can use our Super Rod still to shuffle back that Zoroark. At least make good use of that Super Rod. A Baby Yveltal, a DCE. We should be fine for now. If my opponent attaches a double Dragon Energy, 1 more Darkness Energy, then my opponent is hitting for 100. Yeah, we should be fine for now. I will attach the DCE here to the Yveltal. I'm going to... Oh, that's a bummer. We are left without hands. I might have to discard a DCE. Well... or the Super Rods. Yuck, 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 yuck. It's going to have to be the Super Rods, as unfortunate as it is. I need the DCE. I need those DCEs. We will grab another Shaymin. Only 1 more Zoroark in our deck. Oh my... I just made the wrong call. I should have discarded the DCE, because now we need to find a Zoroark from our prizes. And we need to dig that Zoroark up from our deck. We get an energy, a Wally. Look at that, we get a Wally. No draw supporter though. We have the Sycamore in the discard pile, so I'm going to Wally into my Zoroark. Make sure we have that Zoroark out. Then I will take a look at this Trainer's Mail. I could find a Bursting Balloon here. Teammates. Teammates is good. Let's grab the Teammates. And we are going to pass our turn to our opponent, I think. Now I regret not attaching to my Zoroark and standing in to hit on the Yveltal, but it is what it is, so we'll keep it at this. Pass the turn, see what our opponent does. If he does not retreat this Yveltal, we will hit for the Pitch Black Spear, put 60 on the Darkrai. Maybe actually 60 on the Giratina. There's a Darkness Energy, that's okay. My opponent cannot attach from the discard pile. Now he can Ultra Ball away 1 Darkness Energy. Is going to grab maybe a Shaymin, but then he needs to counter his own stadium. He kind of left himself with an awkward spot there, because he benched that Parallel City facing his own way to reduce his bench size. He did get rid of his Shaymin, but he cannot use any other Shaymins for draw support, so he might leave himself with a bad hand, because look at that, he's got 5 draw supporters in the discard pile, and he's got still lots to go here with his deck, so he might be stuck with a bad hand, which gives us an opportunity here to put damage on the board with our Pitch Black Spear. 60 on the Yveltal here and 60 on the Giratina. Maybe not, we can always use the Whiscash against the Giratina. Giratina has a 3 retreat cost, Darkrai has a 2 retreat cost, so we will put 60 on the Darkrai instead. Well, I kind of regret that now, because the Giratina can shut off our DCE attachments, and if that happens, we are basically screwed. Maybe I should have put it on the Giratina, made sure we can easily knock out that Giratina. Because my opponent could do that in this turn. If he finds a double Dragon Energy and a Max Elixir, we could get Chaos Wheeled. He also needs to find a Switch, or an AZ, or an Escape Rope, or maybe just another energy. But if he finds another or if he attaches another energy to this Yveltal, then he cannot power up the Giratina. There's no way, unless we see Max Elixirs for Psychic Energies as well. But my opponent won't play Psychic Energies, I'm pretty sure. Typically, Darkrai Giratina plays double Dragon Energies and Darkness Energies, and that is it. Like 9 Darkness Energies and 4 double Dragon Energies. And it looks like my opponent might be stuck with a bad hand here. It looks like my opponent might indeed be stuck, because he discarded so many draw supports, and he is. So we are going to Fright Night. Oh, we get another DCE. We are just going to keep attaching our DCEs here while we can. And we're going to Pitch Black Spear. This time around we are going to put 60 on... Well, actually, I don't mind putting it on a Darkrai, because we have our Whiscash to deal with the Giratina. So we'll put it on the Darkrai again, go for the knockout on the Darkrai in the next turn, and then we can use our Whiscash against this Giratina, prevent the Chaos Wheel from the Giratina, have the Giratina sit in the active spot. My opponent cannot attach a Flowstone to it. That would be just fabulous if we can pull that off. And I think I will do that. I will stand in. No, I cannot stand in. I will have to retreat my Yveltal. But that's okay. I'm willing to sacrifice those energies just to give our Whiscash a moment of glory here. Can my opponent find anything from the top deck? I believe he does not. And again, that's because he discarded so many Sycamores and left himself without any bench space to bench a Shaymin. Yes, another pass of the turn, so we do get KO here. We do get KO, and we will Bursting Balloon and this Friday Night Yveltal. Well, maybe not. Well, actually, we will do that. No, actually not. I'm doubting here, and a concede from my opponent. We win the match. We don't even see Whiscash. Oh my goodness, I cannot believe it. I wanted to see Whiscash. No, no. Well, I was thinking there, do I attach? If I do, I didn't think the Giratina would attack us, so then a Bursting Balloon would go to waste. But if we did not attach and the Giratina does attack us, then we cannot use that Bursting Balloon because Giratina prevents us from attaching tool cards. Now, I think I would have loved to see how that played out, and I wanted to attack there with my Whiscash. We only really saw the Whiscash in action in the Seismitoad matchup. But I think right here in this match, he had a really great use case, and we were going to see that in a moment there. We were going to see the Whiscash slowly but surely knock out that Giratina with the Amnesia attack and force my opponent to discard either 2 Double Dragon energies if he wants to retreat the Giratina, or discard some Darkness energies or something. So I'm so sad my opponent conceded a match. I'm so very sad, but I'm very happy that unlike the game against Mega Rayquaza, we did manage to draw very nicely there. And actually had a pretty nice match against this very competitive deck from my opponent. Definitely interesting to see how this deck performs against different meta decks, and it actually doesn't do too bad, I would say. I'm quite surprised by how it did, and I'm quite pleased by how it did as well. But let's be honest, that is mostly thanks to Zoroark and the Yveltals, as well as sometimes the Lugia. The Whiscash is a very situational card, and that is exactly why I paired it up with Zoroark in the first place. Alright, that is going to be it for me today. I really hope you enjoyed this episode. Leave a like if you did, and subscribe to my channel for more Wizard Wednesday episodes. And I will see you on Friday with a fun Friday episode.
Karp, 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 Karp. Karp, 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 Karp.